They need to thank Dan Campbell for going for that fourth down. That was the dumbest decision.
Twice.
The dumbest decision.
Yeah.
So stupid. Like, you live and die. I mean, at least he was consistent all year.
Exactly.
But, man, like, you have to have some situational awareness in that situation there. Because they were dominating that entire game.
Right.
And then they go for it on fourth down, and it flipped the game on. I mean, that was the game right there.
Like you said, I think a lot of it is situational. Like he's been consistent, and he said at the beginning of the year, if we come down to a situation and we go for it on fourth down and we don't get it, I can live with that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I mean, you say that week 1 of the season, but when you finally get to, all right, we're 10 minutes away from the Super Bowl, and you make a call like that where you could easily take the points. I mean, I think in the fourth quarter they went for it twice.
Yeah.
Within field goal range and didn't get it. So that's 6 points. They lost 34-31. 31 plus 6 is 37. You win the game.
They were up 24-10 when they went for it the first time. There's no guarantee they would have made the field goal.
Right.
But they make the field goal. It's a 3-possession game. What happens, 2 plays after that? Long, deep ball.
Yep.
Hits the Lions defender in the face mask.
Yep.
Ayuk, I think that's his name.
Ayuk, yep.
Catch the ball. I mean, and then they score. And then what's the second play on the Lions? Next drive, fumbles the ball.
Right.
I mean, they lost all momentum in the game.
That's a big thing. It's like, all right, in this situation, if it's a regular season game, something like that, the same way that they went for the fourth down or the 2-point conversion 3 times in Dallas, you can kind of live with that. But at this point, this is literally your season on the line.
Yeah,
and I get it. Like that's your thing. You go for it on fourth down.
Yeah.
You're going to risk it. You believe in it, but at the same time, like in the fourth quarter, you went into half 24-7.
Yep.
And at this point, you hadn't scored all second half when you're going for these fourth downs. But the 49ers are consistently just crawling back.
Yeah.
And all you need is a little momentum switch, especially you're in, San Fran. You're playing at their place.
Yeah.
You're letting them crawl back.
Yeah.
You got a chance to just kind of quiet the noise a little bit, take the points, and instead give them the ball back. And then you do it again and give them the ball back. It's just, I mean, credit to him for being who he is.
Yeah.
But he even told his players after the game, he was like, this could be our only shot at it. And that's true. In the NFL, you may only get one shot at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and they're going to look very differently next season.
They're going to lose coaches. They're going to lose players.
Yeah. I don't know, man. They had all the momentum. And again, I get analytics and everything, but at the end of the day, man, just play smart football. And I know we're probably going to catch heat on this, but
analytics don't take in the situation and how the game is going.
Yeah,
the analytics is literally looking at spot on the field, what you've done throughout the year, that kind of deal. It's not saying, okay, the 49ers have scored 10 unanswered points. They're crawling back in the situation. This is the NFC Championship game. If you lose this game, you don't get another chance at it. It's not factoring in any of that stuff. So when your analytics, is calling out and saying, go for it.
Yeah.
And the numbers say go for it. Well, the numbers don't tell you how the game's actually going.
Yeah. And I mean, the fourth down call that they made was a good call. Receiver dropped the ball. Right. And then he dropped another, couple series later.
Yeah.
Same receiver dropped another big pass. That was a third down, would have been a first down. That moment just switched up everything for the Lions. And it ended up costing them. I mean, it truly did.
There was a lot of questionable decisions, too, because you have, all right, even when they did drive down under 2 minutes, they're down 10. They had all 3 timeouts. They hadn't had to use one yet. They're on the goal line.
Yeah.
And like the announcer said, like, you bring the running back in. If you run the ball here, you have to score.
Yeah.
Because if not, you got to burn one of those timeouts, and that's basically game.
Yep.
Because it's either get the onside kick. If you have those 3 timeouts, you have a chance that they can't just kneel the clock out.
Yeah.
And you can potentially get it back and make a few plays and go for it. But running the ball there, I mean, that's just.
Would you have taken? He must not like his kicker, because my thing is if you have more time left, depending where you're at in the field,
go ahead and take the 3.
Because you need the field goal anyways.
Exactly.
Like, why not just give yourself more time?
I think the way
if you have to burn a timeout,
the way it was going was they were hitting big chunks, and
Yeah.
I felt like they just felt like, all right, we're rolling here. Let's go ahead and go for the touchdown. And I don't mind it because, like I said, they got down there. The clock was even stopped.
Yeah.
You know, when they're at the goal line, it's just I didn't like calling a run there because, like they said, and it happened. If you get stopped, you have to burn a timeout at that point.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't like that call.
That was good. He went for it on fourth down again.
It's just so
at the end of the game.
I think he was just he watched our video and he wanted another one to say that he's got some big cojones.
He does. Here's the thing: I still think that he does because he made those calls. They were just the wrong calls.
Yeah.
And sometimes you live and die. It's just like sometimes in basketball, if you're a 3-point team, sometimes if you're red hot,
it works.
You're red hot. But if you go cold, I mean, you're kind of screwed at that point. But that's in these situations, you got to take the points. I think.
Yeah. But and on the other side of that, you have to give credit to the 49ers. I mean, they executed off the line's mistakes. Give Brock Purdy some credit. People called him a game manager, whatever you want to call him, dump down king. I think he was like 2 or 3 yards less rushing than Lamar Jackson had yesterday. Yeah. But I mean, he stepped up when he had to.
He stepped up when he had to at the end of the game. It was kind of like against Green Bay. He looked terrible pretty much the whole game to the last drive.
Yeah.
And then this game, he was missing passes and stuff. He did a lot, like you said, of escaping out of the pocket and running that kind of saved him a little bit.
There was a point in the game where it was the Lions DB, C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Yes.
I think it was the second quarter. Just
20-7 waving at the fans. Yeah.
That's
and
all
him
over
and Debo
social media
had
this
some back
morning.
and forth all season.
Debo quote tweeted he's like, make sure you check on little dude or something like that this morning. He said it during the night.
They've gone after each other all season long.
The same guy went after Baker Mayfield last weekend.
That's
again
just who he is.
It goes back to the Ravens game with the Chiefs yesterday. If you're going to talk it, back it up.
Right. And
the thing is, we've already talked about this, but the Chiefs backed it up. The Ravens didn't.
Right. Here's one thing that really irks me is in these games, in any game really.
Yeah.
But it's players that when you are on the team that's currently losing and you hit a big pass or you have a big run or you get a sack or something and you're celebrating like you're the winning team.
Yeah.
I can't stand that. Like, dude, get back to the huddle. You're losing.
Yeah, it's selfish. I mean, it truly is
you're
selfish.
Losing. And, I mean, you've seen it when it's like you're down 30 or down 24 and you're celebrating. What are you celebrating?
Yeah.
You're getting your tail whipped right now. Like, I can get it if the game's been back and forth. We scored, they score. We scored, they score. And you're celebrating big plays because you're in the game. You're competing with them just as much as they are with you. But when you're down 24-7 and you're celebrating, like, dude, get in the huddle. We got to get this thing going.
Yeah.
Who cares if you made one big play? We need 10 more.
Yeah.
Like, what are you celebrating for?
And even if Zay Flowers if he'd have just got the guy off of him and then twirled the ball, he wouldn't have got. I don't think they would have called the penalty. But when you stand over him like he did, they're going to call it every time, and it's not something that wasn't new.
Right.
I mean, every controversial call in both games yesterday, like the Dean Blandino and Gene Steratore said, these calls have been made all season long.
Right.
The late hit with Clowney on Mahomes, it's been called all season. It may suck in that specific scenario, but they've called it all season. You can't get upset about it. Like the refs didn't. Which this is a funny story. I saw a tweet where the crew that was calling the Chiefs Ravens game, that officiating crew tends to favor the away team.
Right.
And you could see it in certain scenarios, but the Ravens did it to themselves. I mean, they truly did.
Right. They did.
Same thing, same reason why the Lions did it to themselves in the game yesterday.
You have the statistics and stuff to say that, and sometimes, like you said, you can see it. But at the end of the day, both of the teams that lost did it to themselves.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you end up with probably nobody's looking forward to the Super Bowl as a nation. people would have much rather seen Ravens Lions.
Everybody's tired of it. It's no fault to the Chiefs, but everybody's tired of seeing them in the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
I think yesterday was
It's kind of like they're becoming what the Patriots were when just everybody. If you weren't a Patriots fan, you hated the Patriots because you were just sick and tired of seeing them.
I think
whether they won it all or they didn't.
I think yesterday was Patrick Mahomes' 6th straight conference championship game.
And I think 4 out of the last 5 years.
This is 4 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're becoming what the Patriots were.
Yeah, if they win the Super Bowl this year, you could start comparing them to the Patriots dynasty.
And the thing is they're doing it kind of similar, where some years it's been just straight up offense, some years it's been a combination, some years or like this year it's been our defense has been kind of keeping us in it. It's just you got some great players on both sides, just singular athletes, and then you just have an amazing head coach that just knows how to get out of his coordinators what he needs to get.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a good game.
The finals, I don't think we've said the finals, but Chiefs won 17-10.
Yep.
Lions lost. 49ers won 34-31. Good. They're really good games yesterday. I mean, you couldn't ask for better games, but I wish the outcomes were different. I mean, I don't mind either team. I like the 49ers. There's some Gamecocks that are on there. I like Kyle Shanahan. But the Lions storyline, man, was so good. You had Eminem throwing the double birds. I'm not going to do that on this show. He was throwing double birds to the 49ers fans. It was just a good storyline because, again, they hadn't won a playoff game for over 30 years going into the playoffs this season. And
this is their first
for all intents and purposes, they were on track to win that game yesterday.
Yeah, they should have won. It was, I think, a more veteran coach leading his team back, and Kyle Shanahan. Now he's just got to get it done.
Yeah,
because like I mentioned earlier, he's been there however many years. They haven't won the Super Bowl. Congrats on getting there, but if you don't win it, that's just a participation trophy. Thanks for showing up.
But it's kind of like with Josh Allen and the Bills. It's just unfortunate you can't knock him as a player because he's a damn good player. But you're just going to run into Patrick Mahomes every year, and there's just only so much you can do sometimes.
You either gotta get it done or you got to be moved on from.
I mean, it's what everybody said about Peyton. Yeah, I mean he could never really get the best of Tom Brady throughout his career.
But yeah, I think Shanahan's got to get it done.
Yeah.
As much as people always talk about the Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl in 25 years, they've won a Super Bowl more recently than the 49ers. But nobody wants to talk about that because it ain't the Cowboys.
And you could say this is funny, but the Panthers have been to the Super Bowl more recently than the Cowboys have.
Congratulations. You want your participation trophy. You were there. Thanks for showing up. If you don't win it, I don't care. I don't like people are just like, let's just get to the NFC Championship game. I don't care if we win. No, if you don't win the Super Bowl, there's 31 teams that are losers. That's what it is. There's one team that wins it. Other than that, I don't care if you got there or if you got the number 1 pick like the Panthers. You in the same boat. You didn't win it.
We don't have the number 1 pick. The Bears.
Well, you're giving away the number 1 pick, but y'all earned it.
Yeah,
y'all earned the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Exactly.
All right, Ricky.
Nobody
Bobby.
cares about second place. But we'll do a Super Bowl recap next week.
Yeah.
We'll let the storylines build up a little bit throughout the week, and then we'll cover it going into it.
We're going to see that stupid sphere in Las Vegas.
Yeah. If you want to see our recap of the AFC and NFC Championship games, click here.
And if you're interested in seeing the rest of our episode about all our sports, click here.
And consider sharing, subscribing to our channel for everything college, NFL, or just sports related. We'll appreciate the support.